So here's the solution to this problem. You're asked to provide the missing reasons in this proof. So all the steps were done. On the left-hand side, I just want you to justify each step along the way in the proof. So it isn't as though you're doing the problem, you're just given the reasons why each one of the steps shown were able to be taken. So when I look at the first, when I'm looking for A, I have to see what happens essentially when I go from, one second here. Gotta get my pen ready. When I go from this step to this step, I see the parentheses disappearing altogether, but when I look at the original, when I look at that step, prior to this, I mean, there's nothing on the outside of it that signifies that the distributive property was used, because essentially there's nothing on the outside other than ones. And I could kind of imagine that one being here and the one being here. But those just basically multiply through, and the parentheses drop out. So what did happen? Well, it looks as though the 3x and the 6x got added together, and the 3 and the 5 got added together. So essentially I added like terms on the left-hand side. Now people sometimes will say, because they saw addition, they'll say it's the addition property of equality. But you have to remember that the addition property, or the addition property of equality, would indicate that some sort of addition is being done on both sides of the equation. As we look here, I mean, the right-hand side, nothing's changing. Okay? So it's not the addition property of equality here. It's basically we're doing this because we're able to either simplify or combine like terms. Got a little ahead of myself there. Now, when I look for what's going on in B, again, I look to see what goes on from the previous step until that step. Well, when I look at both sides, the plus 8 disappeared, and the right-hand side got decreased by 8. So essentially both sides were subtracted by 8. And since this time I did subtract a value from both sides of the equation, it's going to be the subtraction property of equality. And then last but not least, I'm going to get down to my final result here. I look to see, well, what's going on when I move from the previous step until this last step. Well, the 9 in front of the x disappeared. That 9 was originally being multiplied. So, and I also see that 72 was divided by 9. So to get rid of a multiplication of 9, I would divide by 9. To get 72 to become 8, I would have divided by 9. So I divided 9 on both sides of the equation. And because of that, that's the result of me using the division property of equality. So those are the statements that need to be put in here to finish the proof. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me. Have a good day.